Hi, you precious folks out there. Welcome to another cup of refreshing water. I'm Pam Fussell. My husband and I pastor First Assembly of God in Dallas, Georgia. It's a suburb, northwestern suburb of Atlanta. I'm the connection pastor and the women's director at the church. Something you may not know about me is that I am a very playful person. I like to get in groups and have everybody having a good time. So I open today with, well, first you need to know my lesson is called, It's Okay, You're Safe. But I'm going to open with some funny stuff. Does anyone in your family ever sneak around and try to scare you? Or perhaps you're the one that sneaks around trying to scare them. I have been known to sneak around the church and scare different people. But you have to know, payback is very rough. I tend to concentrate really hard when I'm studying and preparing and working. And so our youth pastor in the past, he could come to my door and call my name and I wouldn't hear him. And then he'd step on into my office and call me again. I still wouldn't hear him. He'd finally sit down in the chair right in front of my desk and just look at me and wait until I noticed him. When I finally would, it'd scare me so bad, I'd throw myself backward and I'd scream. And he would scream, and then everybody else in the office was wondering what was going on. And then we all had a huge laugh, a lot of fun going on. And on our Wednesday nights, particularly in the summer, a lot of people, they don't leave afterwards. They might stay for an hour. And we've got these gazebos with swings, and people will be sitting in the gazebos laughing and talking. Children are out in the field playing. Teenagers are on the basketball court or out playing football. It's all just a really good time. But one Wednesday night, I was getting ready to leave and I noticed everybody was watching me. And I thought, I wonder what's going on here. But I went ahead and went to my car, waved at everyone, said bye, jumped in my car, and as soon as I shut the door, somebody grabbed me on the shoulder. I screamed and I jumped out of that car, turned around and looked. Lo and behold, one of our board members had hidden himself in the back seat of my car and just scared the snot out of me. Well, I got him back later. He was going through the church, the downstairs part of the church, locking up and turning off lights. When he came by, I jumped out and got him. It's a real good thing for a whole congregation to be playful and love each other and have a good time. My husband, Brad, he's very playful, and the people are always laughing at him. He's particularly good at making hilarious songs up. And so it's a good thing. But I started off this lesson by saying the title was, It's Okay, You're Safe. I know that it's funny to scare each other, and it's really funny to, tell funny stories and get each other and all. But it's not that funny when something has happened in your life and you really are scared. You could be scared of, maybe you owe a lot of money and then they're going to come and get you, or they're going to come and take all your stuff. Maybe you are afraid that you're going to get a disease, or maybe someone you know has a disease, or it's you. And it's very fearful. What's going to happen next? How bad is this going to be? Sometimes we get afraid that somebody's going to break into our house and they're going to hurt us. Or we're afraid one of our loved ones is going to have a car wreck. Fear is a torment. It can be very hideous. I want you to know we've all been there. But I also want you to know that the Lord Himself is faithful to help us in the midst of it. In the book of John, all of the disciples and Jesus were crossing the Sea of Galilee, and what's called a squall came up. It's like a sudden storm with intense winds and high waves, and a squall had come up, and the disciples were so terrified that they were screaming, and they went to Jesus and said, "Master, Master, we are going to drown." Jesus was in the boat, and he was asleep. Well, Jesus got up calmly, and he rebuked the wind and the waves, and everything was peaceful. Now, I told you that story because I want you to have one thought. Think on it. Can the boat sink if Jesus is in it with you? Ponder that a moment. Can the boat sink if Jesus is in the boat with you? Isaiah 50:7, for the Lord will help me. Psalm 7:10, my shield is God Most High, who saves the upright in heart. Psalms 59:9, O my strength, I watch for you. You, O God, are my fortress, my loving God. God, you will go before me. I want to add, right? I know that you will. For a long time, when I've had times of fear, I picture God standing before me with his hands out like this. And I am on the side trying to climb up into his hand. And I finally climb up in his hand. I'm sitting in the middle of it, and he covers me. Then I know that I'm safe, that everything's going to be okay because God has got me in his hands. I particularly believe that the Holy Spirit wanted me to tell you that today. When you're in his hands, you're safe. Nothing can get you. No one can harm you. Unless he's going to carry you through and bring you out of the scary thing, but even then, he's got you. Proverbs 18:10 says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. Proverbs 29:25, fear of man will prove a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. It's okay. You're safe. When I was 7 years old, I didn't know anything about God. I was down the street playing with my friend, and I overheard 2 women talking. And one woman said, all I know is that when I need help, I go to God and he helps me. That was the first time I'd ever heard about God. Well, that very night, I woke up and I heard fighting and screaming in my house. I ran into the living room, and my mother and my stepfather and his mother, Ozella, were fighting in the living room. Well, Ozella was on top of my mother. She had her down on the floor, and she was choking her and hitting her head on the floor. I thought she was going to kill my mother, so even though I was little bitty, I ran over and tried to pull her off, and she backhanded my face, and I hit the wall. I didn't know what to do, so I ran into the first room, and I looked up, and I said, God, that lady said that you help her. Please help me. Make them stop. And immediately everything was quiet in my house. I ran back to the living room, and all 3 of them were sitting, talking quietly in chairs. I ran this time back to my bedroom, and I threw open my curtain. I looked up at the sky, and I said, you must be real. To me, God introduced himself to me, and he became my very best friend. At that moment, from then on and forever will be my very, very best friend. gave me the joy of walking closely with Him, of knowing Him in a special way. And I will say, my mother was an alcoholic at that time. She's a fine Christian now. My stepfather, he drank, but he hated me. And he could be very cruel. He did very cruel things to me. And there were times, yes indeed, that I was not safe. But I'd cry out to God, help me, protect me. And I could feel His presence come in. And whether He took me out of the situation or carried me through it, I was always okay. He helped me. One time I even looked up. I'm not going to tell you what bad was going on, but I looked up and I said, God, why does Floyd hate me? And the presence of God came into my room. I remember a little girl looking up at the ceiling. I had locked my door so he couldn't get in. And the Lord spoke to me and He said, he doesn't know how to love. It's a problem that he has. It's not your fault. From that point on, it didn't matter what Floyd said or did. He never hurt me again. I always loved him and I always felt sorry for him. See how good God is? See. God is faithful to keep you safe. He will stop it or He will bring you through it. His hands, I really believe that the Spirit would say, my hands are stretched out to you. Get in my hands and I will protect you. Let Him cover you so you can feel His protection, feel the safety, and feel His love for you. It's all okay. It's going to be okay because you are loved. You're safe in the hands of God. Well, next Monday I'll be meeting with you again at 11 o'clock. I love you. I don't know who you are, but because of the Lord, I love you and I pray for you. God keep you safe in His arms. I pray particularly for your children right now. God help your children. Keep them safe. All right, till next Monday. Bye-bye. I love you.